Imagine starting your day with clarity, ending it with reflection, and feeling fully present in between. This is the kind of intentional living we're moving toward, together. Welcome to the Mindful Edit podcast, where we explore self-reflective questions, mindful habits, and small daily shifts to help you live with purpose, intention, and connection. I'm your host, Annette Furio, founder of Season Journals, and I'm glad you're here. Hello, and welcome to the Mindful Edit podcast, where we talk about living with intention, practicing mindful habits, and experiencing well-being through journaling and self-reflection. I'm your host, Annette Furio, founder of Season Journals. On today's episode, I'm interested in exploring two themes. The first one you may have seen floating around the internet, and that is the concept of romanticizing your life, taking everyday, ordinary moments and making them extraordinary, elevating a moment, being fully present, and turning routines into rituals. And the second, which goes hand in hand, is celebrating small moments and small milestones, enjoying the journey and not just the outcome, almost forcing ourselves to stop and say, hey, this deserves a moment of acknowledgement, a high five, a heck yes, a sweet treat before moving on to whatever is on the to-do list next. So today I'll aim to answer these two questions. How can we elevate the everyday? And how can we better embrace the journey and not just the destination? If you have a journal or a notebook handy, feel free to write your answers to the journal prompts at the end of this episode. You can also pause it if you'd like to journal along at the same time or listen through and then come back and journal at a later time. Before we get started, we'll go ahead and take a quiet moment to ground ourselves and bring awareness to the present moment. You can do this by closing your eyes if you're able, or simply steadying your gaze. We'll take a few breaths in and out together. Inhale through your nose for 1, 2, 3, and exhale through your nose for 1, 2, 3. Again, in through your nose, 2, 3, and exhale, 2, 3. Last inhale, 2, 3, and exhale, 2, 3. Now tilt your head to the right and then to the left. Give your neck a little stretch. Look up to the ceiling and drop your chin to your chest and back to center. To start us off today, I'd like to offer you a few positive affirmations. Feel free to say them aloud or to yourself. Every day is a day worth celebrating. One small shift can make an impact. Routines can turn into rituals with a little imagination. All right, today we're setting out to answer the question, how can we elevate the everyday? I'd like to share a few ideas that have worked for me in the past. One way is to change our mindset and our perspective. There's an Albert Einstein quote that I love. He said, "There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is though everything is a miracle." When we see everything as a miracle, we are more likely to treat it as something of value and importance. And once you see that, you can then say, this might seem like just an ordinary moment, but actually it's quite wonderful. So many things had to happen for me to experience this. So many decisions were made. So many elements aligned. This awareness is really about being mindful and present and having perspective of both seeing the bigger picture and the granular moment at the same time. Gratitude journaling is a really good way to gain some of this perspective and to notice the ordinary around you that might not actually be so ordinary. That these things can be quite special in the grand scheme of things, and that's why we feel so grateful. Another way to elevate the everyday is to add to the situation's environment. What I mean by this is adding sensory things that change the mood or the vibe. I like to do this through music, lighting, and scent specifically. I put on jazz when I cook dinner. I light candles. I turn the lights down a little bit. These things calm me, yes, but they also signal an elevated tone where you want to hang out a little bit longer instead of moving on to the next thing. On the other hand, you can add excitement or energy to an ordinary moment. I do this when I work out. I'm still one of the people who likes to listen to a great playlist to get me energized. Some of you over here are just listening to podcasts or even nothing, but I'm a music person. For me, it helps set the tone. I also had a yoga teacher who had the best playlists, and it truly changed the feel of the flow. Took it to a new level, and paired with the mental and physicality of yoga, it could sometimes bring you to tears. This is an ordinary moment turned extraordinary. Sound and music also play a powerful role in memory making because they activate two parts of the brain, the emotional and the cognitive centers, at the same time. The hippocampus helps encode the event itself. This is where you were, what was happening, and the amygdala strengthens the memory by attaching emotional significance to it. Together, they help us remember moments, and they can also help us re enter that mental and emotional state tied to them. If you've been watching the Olympics, you've probably seen the athletes with their headphones on, they're going through their routine. The music they're listening to is probably not random. It's probably associated with their training, repetition, helping them get into that peak performance mindset. Hearing it again can quickly get them there and reactivate their focus. Scent is also a powerful way to attach meaning to a moment. It has this direct connection to those same areas in the brain that we just talked about. You may have experienced this when you smell something that you haven't for a long time. Maybe you pulled out an old perfume you haven't worn in years, or the scent of somebody's house you haven't been to in a while, and memories come flooding back. Elevate the everyday with a scent or a sound, and you'll be able to reference those memories for years to come. A few other ideas that are just simply more fun: dress up, use the good dishes, buy the flowers, take a friend on an otherwise solo errand. I heard about friends going grocery shopping together. Celebrate on a weeknight, make it beautiful, make it silly, and make memories. The next question I'd love to explore: how can we better embrace the journey and not just the destination? First, we have to come to terms that there is more to life than reaching an outcome or a destination. This doesn't mean we don't set goals or intentions for our days, years, lives. It means we may want to rethink phrases like working for the weekend or Sunday scaries, or I'll do it when I have more time, more money, more experience. All these phrases raise a little concern for our everyday well being and happiness, signals misalignment. Embracing the journey is very much about living in the present. It does not mean having total disregard over your future or your goals, but it's having that perspective that we talked about earlier, where you see the bigger picture. We could still dream about someday, but in our everyday lives, we choose to give more weight to being present. There's research showing that happiness isn't just about what we achieve, it's about how present we are in the everyday. One 2017 study on mindfulness found that people who scored higher in present moment awareness consistently reported greater subjective well being and life satisfaction. Following up, a 2022 study found that mindfulness was positively associated with happiness and emotional regulation. In other words, the more we can be present in the moment, the more emotionally stable and even happier we'll be. How great is that? There's also another layer to this. Research on something called savoring, love that word, our ability to notice and appreciate positive experiences, shows that when people attend to small, pleasant moments, their positive emotions increase. A study published in Frontiers in Psychology found that savoring daily experiences predicted better psychological well being over time. So it's not just about eliminating stress or achieving milestones. There will be stress and there will be milestones. It's about bringing our attention to what's specifically in front of us, and even more so, bringing attention to the good. When we slow down, when we savor, when we take extra steps to make the moment meaningful, we deepen our life experience and make room for so much more joy. As we wrap up, I have a couple of journal prompts for you to think through, journal your responses, or come back to later. Number 1, what's something positive that happened today? Start to train yourself to see the good. Number 2, how can I work on savoring the moment and being fully present this week? Remember, being present can actually make us happier. Number 3, what's one part of my week that feels ordinary or monotonous that could use a little upgrade? Number 4, what sensory detail can I add to this otherwise ordinary part of my week? Do this as a ritual or a routine, and you'll start connecting that sound or scent to that activity. Thank you for spending some time here with me today, and thank you for making time for yourself and your well-being. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend or leave us a comment. I would love to know how you are elevating everyday moments in your life this week. Be well.